Yes, sir, they talk about the 7 seas, but actually there are 13 of them. Seems like people are just born to be superstitious. And, Matthew, there are the 4 great oceans. The Pacific, the Indian, the Arctic, and then right here within half a mile of us, our own great Atlantic. And that's some mud puddle, man. Yes, sir, some puddle. 31,530,000 square miles of water. And every bit of it just as wild and free as it was on the day God made it.
Connie?
You know, David...
Is Dad still outside?
Farragut was the first admiral that the United States Navy ever had. That was about 100 years ago, 1866. And there have been a lot of good ones since. And right here in New England is the home of some of the finest sailors that the world's ever known.
Has he been talking to the baby that way all afternoon?
Greatest whaling port.
Dad!
Of course, that changed some in 1850 when they invented that new harpoon. Now, Matthew, when you're ready for your first boat, I'm going to build you a beetle cat. Got a good broad beam and can take a wave. Then, a little later, you may want to...
He's got a defenseless baby lying flat on its back while he rattles on and on with facts about sailing and whaling that would put the Secretary of the Navy asleep.
Maybe it'll put Matthew to sleep.
You can depend on that. But, Matthew, when you're older, we'll get you one of those 18-footers like they sail in New Zealand.
Will you listen to that?
You don't see many of them around here.
They say that an infant's mind will remember a person's voice and recognize that person long before it remembers what the person really looks like.
Get up and run. Then you'll know that you just gotta have one.
That sly old dog.
And there's practically no limit to the amount of sail you can put on. Why, with a main and jibbalone mat, you can get up to 400 square feet. And with a spinnaker mat, as much as 1,400. What do you think of that? Oh, Jiggers, it's Mom and Pop.
Don't you think we ought to let Matthew get used to his bassinet first before we launch him into the Atlantic?
Well, he's practically qualified as a midshipman already.
Of course, you want to make certain he always salutes the captain, right?
Well,
Okay, Skipper. I'll take a hand at the helm now before you batten down all the hatches.
What are you blethering about?
Now, I know what you're up to, but no one's going to pirate away my son. Okay, come on, get down below decks and help the cook set out the dinner. You see, I want to be the first male Carson that Matthew recognizes, and if that sounds too cruel to you, then it's your own fault, because you're the one that spoiled me.
Well, if that doesn't take the cake.
Come on, Dad. I'd like to hear the sound of your voice.
Oh. This is mutiny, Matt. Downright mutiny.
Dinner will be ready in 5 minutes.
No, wait a minute. I demand equal time.
You're going to get a lifetime.
No. Don't let that gruff old fellow scare you. Come on, fella. You forget all about becoming a sailor now. You understand me? Come on now, fella. There are a lot more profitable things for you to do. Spend your time as a young man. Yeah. You know, if I had it to do all over again, I'd become one of the world's vanishing species of craftsmen. Yeah. Did you ever hear of a type designer? I think you do know your old dad, don't you? I think you do, huh? Yeah.
Just writing to Mother. No, I got it.
Have you eaten?
No.
Would you like me to fix you something? Well, then let's sit down. Come on. Do you want to talk? I went shopping today. Not for antiques, for houses. I think you're right about this place. I'd like to move, too. The Boysen's place out on the ridge is for sale. It needs a little work done on it, new carpets and drapes. Oh, Stephen, such big feet you have. But it's got a terrific view.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. You've just had one too many, that's all.
Oh, 10 too many. Or maybe 10 too few, I don't know. Let's see.
I've got one for you. I've got one.
I went to Ada's.
I know she called me after you left.
Good old Ada. Can't stand the sight of me, but was afraid I would fall flat on my face. You afraid I might fall flat on my face, Betty?
I think you know better than that.
I might. I might fall flat on my face.
Darling, there's always someone here to help you up.
Oh, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I had a big fall. You helped me. It's Martin Peyton, isn't it? You'll have to cross-examine him. Stephen, when the judge asks if you want to cross-examine, why don't you just say no questions? Hmm?
No questions. No questions. I've got 28 years of questions. I have wanted to put him on the witness stand since I was 7 years old. Oh, Betty, I can't tell you what that was like. To hear my mother and Martin Peyton whispering, and to see them look at me and wonder if I heard what they were saying, and to have to go outside or into my room for no reason. To feel like I never belonged to anybody. Like I was something. Just something.
It's all right, Stephen. You can't keep it in forever. It's all right.
I couldn't understand. I could never understand. I waited, and I waited. I always thought, someday he's gonna tell me. Someday he's gonna tell me. And he never did. He never did. And he knew I was screaming to him. But he just turned his back. Oh, now he's gonna have to answer to me. He can't just turn his back and walk off that witness stand. Mr. Peyton. Mr. Martin Peyton. Now that is your real name, isn't it? Well, I want you to answer that. I want that answered under oath. So at least we'll know that much about you is honest. Mr. Martin Peyton. Well, you can't play Sphinx now. You'll answer me. Why? Why?
Stephen.
Now, why did you do it? You knew I grew up thinking you were my father. Why did you let me? Did you want that? Was there some part of you that wanted that? Did you want a son like I wanted a father? Well, you never treated me like a son. You never treated me like anything. Why'd you keep me hanging around, hoping and believing? Why?
Stephen.
I had a father! Now, why didn't you let me know him? Why didn't you let me know my own father? My mother didn't want me. My mother didn't want Anne, and she didn't want me. Now, why did you try and insist that that little boy be brought up by a woman that is nothing more than your... Why did you try and separate me from my only real family? Now, why? Why didn't you ever give me a choice? I'm a human being, and I should have had a choice.
Oh, darling. Let it out. Let it all out.
Peyton. I'll crucify him.